Good afternoon everyone, and a very warm welcome to the Scottish borders. I'm here beside the wonderfully named the Loch of the Lowes, and the plan today is I'm going to be walking not around this loch but another one very close by, St Mary's Loch, which I believe is the largest loch in southern Scotland. Now, when people think of Scotland, they obviously think about lochs, they think about mountains. I don't think people always appreciate what a beautiful area southern Scotland is and how mountainous southern Scotland is. But this area is absolutely beautiful, spectacular. So yes, come and join me as I do what is for me a new walk. So we have here a little cafe which unfortunately is closed today. Now it says it's actually closed Mondays and Tuesdays. It's actually a Friday today, but maybe we're out of season. But there are some public toilets which are open. But there's a good car park just across the road, which is where I'm parked. So you can see how close the two lochs are behind me. So this is the Loch of the Lowes, and if I turn that way, you might just be able to see down there, that's St Mary's Loch. So that's what we're going to be walking around. I'm just going to show you though this statue. So we have here a statue to a local shepherd and poet who became very good friends with Sir Walter Scott. And this is known as the Hog Memorial, named after James Hogg, the Ettrick shepherd, born 1770, died 1835. He lived all his life in this area, but had, as I said, a very close friendship with Sir Walter Scott. But James Hogg, although he was a poet, remained to his dying day a shepherd. Apparently, just reading an information board, it said he never really fitted in with polite society, couldn't adapt to it, preferred the mountains of southern Scotland. So there you can see the signpost, Ring of the Loch, 7-mile circular walk. So nice clear path to follow. It's been quite a while since I've done a walking video, so it's great to be back out in nature doing this again. And I love discovering new places, and this place is new to me. In fact, I didn't even know about St Mary's Loch until about a week ago, and someone mentioned that they'd spent a few days here and how lovely it was. And I thought, oh, I need to check it out myself, and what an amazing spot. So that's Loch of the Lowes, and just over there behind the trees, St Mary's Loch. We're actually going to be walking along part of the Southern Upland Way, and there's a map here so you can see where we are, St Mary's Loch down there, and the path along the side of the loch we're going to be following. And the Southern Upland Way starts from Port Patrick all the way to Cockburn's Path. I don't know if I've pronounced that correctly, but it's the Scottish equivalent of the coast to coast. So they've got a sailing club here. Be a lovely spot to come to in the summer when the weather's a bit brighter. I seem to be quite lucky with the weather. When I set off, it was torrential rain. It's been a very wet morning, but the sun is trying to come out, and it's very mild actually for the time of the year. Look at that view. It's a part of Scotland that not many visitors come to. People tend to bypass this area, head up to Edinburgh, Glasgow, the Highlands. They don't know what they're missing. So I think I said St Mary's Loch is the largest natural loch in southern Scotland. That might not be correct. It's the largest natural loch in the Scottish Borders, which is a region of southern Scotland. And apparently it's 3 miles long, or 5 kilometres. I was also reading that the Loch of the Lowes is apparently a very significant breeding ground for ospreys. So they've had a very successful breeding programme around there. You can also find red squirrels and beavers in the Loch of the Lowes, so significant loch for wildlife. So welcome to March Wood, or what is left of March Wood. It's an interesting little spot because it says here that it has huge historical significance and is shown on one of the earliest maps of Scotland dating back to the 17th century, and likely to be a remnant of the great Ettrick forest which stretched from Selkirk to the Galloway coast. It goes on to say that the forest played an important part in Scotland's history. Its early known inhabitants were the Selgovae, or Selgova, a tribe of hunter-gatherers who resisted the Roman conquest of Scotland. Due to their nomadic lifestyle, they were difficult to pin down, using the forest for cover and maintaining guerrilla warfare against the intruders. And centuries later, William Wallace also took refuge in this forest and successfully used it as cover to launch raiding parties against Edward I's troops and strongholds. This is very sad to see. People have come here, lit a fire, left their rubbish. The lack of care and respect for the environment is really sad to see. Maybe I should mention that yesterday was Jessie's birthday. She was 10 years old. So although she's getting a bit older, still plenty of energy and still loves her walks. Not sure how many more years she'll be able to do decent walks, but as long as she enjoys it, as long as she's got the energy and stamina, we'll keep going on these walks together. I think sometimes, for those of us that are fortunate enough to live in the UK, we forget just how lucky we are to live in this country. A country that's so rich in history, and a country that's peaceful, but also a country that just has such spectacular scenery like this. And I, for one, never want to take that for granted. We are so fortunate, and as I travel to other countries, and admittedly I haven't travelled to that many countries, but as I travel to other countries, I think it helps me appreciate all the more the UK and what we have, such as scenery like that. It really is magnificent. I don't know if anyone else, when they're out walking, dreams about what it'd be like to live in the houses that you see on the way, but just looking at the house over there behind me, I think that'd be a lovely spot. And it's got views down this field, down to the lake behind me. I think I'd be willing to make the sacrifice and live here. It'd be hard, but someone's got to do it. So here we are at the bottom of St Mary's Loch. We'll cross over the river and head back the other side. So at the bottom of the loch we have a weir. And if anyone knows why the weir is here, I'd be really interested if you could let me know. Is it to do with controlling the river, prevent flooding? Is it to do with fishery? Or is it to do with generating electricity? So if you do know why this weir is here, please do comment and let me know. So I've just crossed the river, and the path that I want to take actually heads this way back up the other side of the loch. But I'm just going to do a little detour to something called Dryhope Tower. Now there is a sign here, a board here with information about it, and it's a typical border peel tower dating from the 15th century. So we're going to have a little look at that. So welcome to Dryhope Tower. Today it's a very beautiful and peaceful location. But in the 15th and 16th centuries, this was a very lawless region of Scotland. There were families that were fighting against one another, murdering one another, stealing one another's flocks, fighting for control over this part of the border region. And they were known as the Reivers. So this was a very lawless area. And so families built peel towers, very typical to the one behind me, to be a defensive structure to defend against attack. And Dryhope Tower was built by the Scots family, and Mary Scott, the descendant of Sir Walter Scott, was born here in 1550. Now this particular peel tower was abandoned in the 17th century, but you used to find, and you still do find, lots of peel towers like this across the border region between England and Scotland. And this one, I believe, has a staircase, a spiral staircase that you can climb to get to the top to admire the views. So let's go and check that out. So welcome inside Dryhope Tower. Quite an impressive ruin. And they've got some information boards here. So this shows you what one of these towers typically would have looked like in the day. This board here shows you the various different towers or ruins in this area, so you can see how many there were. And welcome to the top of the tower, where you get lovely views over the surrounding mountains, hills. So standing at the top of this tower, you can see for quite some distance, and if your neighbours were coming to attack you, you would retreat into your tower, and it would provide a pretty good defensive structure for you to defend yourself against your attacking neighbours. So as I say, today, very peaceful spot, but it wasn't always like that. In fact, this was really a lawless area, not controlled by either England or Scotland. Hard to imagine it now on such a calm, beautiful September afternoon. This apparently is one of the best preserved peel towers in the area. So if you are coming to St Mary's Loch, doing a walk around St Mary's Loch, then I recommend you make the detour to come and visit this peel tower. So I'm now back on the other side of the river. That's where I had my lunch, just over there. And it looks like there are some sort of lock gates, sluice gates, maybe to control the flow of the water. So it might be something to do with preventing flooding, I don't know. Anyway, do let me know if you have a better idea than I do. Now we have a bit of an issue here because I'm following the footpath, but the sheep are in my way. Oh no, they're okay. I've got the dog, so I thought they were going to be channeled to the top of the path, but no. There we go. Oh, apart from these few up here, let's see what they're going to do. There's not much I can do here. They're going to run past me, yeah? Come on. There you go. That's it. Good. Dog's on the lead. Walking back on this side of the loch, I assumed I was going to have to walk alongside the road, but as it happens, there's a nice path just above the road, so don't have to worry about traffic. Certainly not at this section of the loch, at least. Hopefully it will carry on this way all the way back to the car. So I'm going to do another little detour. So I'm just going to go up this hill path behind me, and that's going to take me to St Mary's Kirkyard, and I'll explain a bit more once I get there. So welcome to St Mary's Kirkyard. As you can see, the church has long since disappeared, but there are still graves here in the churchyard. The church itself dated back to the 1200s, and this was a very important site, not just for this valley, but actually for Scotland, because it is believed that it was at this location, on this site, that William Wallace was proclaimed Guardian of Scotland. And each July they hold outdoor services here on this site, and this commemorates the determination of the outlawed Covenanters of the 17th century, who used to maintain their beliefs by holding secret acts of worship out of doors. And I believe that's what they used to do here. So each July there is a service to commemorate the Covenanters. You remember the little white house that I said I quite fancied living in? Well, it's the other side of the loch. This is something you don't see that often. An old AA box. So I'm assuming if you broke down, you'd find your nearest AA box and phone for help. Now there's actually a reservoir up this valley which I'd be quite interested to go and explore. It's a very remote, isolated valley. I'm not sure I have time to do it today though, but something to come back to explore another time. So it looks like we've got a little bit of road walking to do, but as you can see it's not a particularly busy road. It's a beautiful spot here, but unfortunately people have come, had a bonfire and left their rubbish, completely unnecessary. So as I'm not far from the car, I'll pick that up and take that home and put it in the recycling. Again, more rubbish here. Just left their barbecue here. I really, really hate that. The lack of respect for the environment. Totally unnecessary. So here we are, back at the car. So just get rid of the rubbish. I said I'd recycle it, but that's not recycling, but better there than being on the ground. So I hope you enjoyed that walk. As I say, if you've not been here before, do recommend this area to you. It's a beautiful area, lovely part of Scotland, and a really lovely walk. 7 miles round the Loch if you don't do the detours, which I did. I think that adds about 2.5 kilometres, so about 1 3/4 miles extra if you do the detours. But it's fairly level, fairly flat, so yeah, fantastic walk. Anyway, until next time, take care and God bless.